Hey, what's going on, cultivators of the future? So glad you guys can make it over here to the podcast, well, to the video cast. I don't know what you call these, but hey, we're here. My name is Robert Astwood. So glad you can make it to Astor Education. Take a walk. So, today I've been asked the question, what do you think about systemic injustice in schools? It's a great question. You know, this is a super crucial topic. When you think about systemic injustice, I'm not even going to talk about schools to begin, all right? Check this out. Just think about how much injustice or how much disadvantages by society, not naturally, that kids actually undergo before they ever even take flight or step into a classroom. Before kids ever even come into the classroom, they have a host of issues, especially in low-income neighborhoods. And it's not like a stereotype, check it out. Just think about how much kids actually have to go through. So when you think about a kid in their home, they're around they're called food deserts, right? And this is not everybody, but there's locations that actually have food deserts. So that basically means that you have low access to food, right? To simplify it. And just think about if you didn't have access to food. Think about if you're in class, right? You're trying to learn something, you're trying to gain this new knowledge, you're trying to improve yourself, and your stomach is growling. Just think about how many kids don't even have a meal when they first come into class. And just think about the households that have, unfortunately, no dad or no mom, those single parent households. And hey, I'm actually a product of one of those. But luckily, I actually had my mom, my aunt, and my grandma. So I guess, is that really single parent? I don't know. That's kind of cheating. But just think about that dynamic. That kind of really throws it off. What if you don't have a father figure, right, to kind of look up to? Or what if you don't have a mother figure, a motherly figure to kind of get certain other kinds of feelings or understandings from? There's different dynamics that you can get from each parent. And, not to say that you can't have a great life without, having two parents, but it definitely changes things, That's another aspect. Now, there's definitely other factors that I can touch on with the family or the other aspects of what happens before you even step into the classroom as a child. But let's fast forward, okay? So we're in the classroom, right? And one of the major things that happens is tracking or ability grouping. And this is usually linked to behavior issues, right? Heavy discipline, always focusing on, and it's, for some reason, I don't know why, but it always happens to be BIPOC students, which basically just means black, indigenous, or person of color. And it's why do they seem to always be getting in more trouble, always be getting to seem heavier reprimanded? You can just look at how the statistics of young girls, right? Young girls in schools constantly are getting sent, and even just this stereotype of they're louder than everybody else, or they're more aggressive, and it's these different things all tie in to the systemic injustice. So kind of going back outside of the classroom, just think about how we're portrayed on news, right? People of color, how are they portrayed on news? How they're criminalized, right? Or how we're constantly, it's so funny, I was just looking at the news with my grandma. Well, I don't really look at it, but it was in the background. She's always watching it. And you basically see, in a row, 3 different, okay, this person just got mugged by a black person. Oh, African-American male wearing a hoodie doing XYZ. And it's I'm not making this up. I could literally record the news. I think that's what I'm gonna do next time. Next time I'm gonna come with evidence, because documentation beats conversation. But that'll be for the next episode. But yeah, you can literally record the news and you will see. And I can't forget about the funding. Just think about it. Schools, even the way they're set up, they're basically set up by districts and neighborhoods. And if you're in a quote-unquote good neighborhood, then I'm oversimplifying this, but you receive better funding, right? You receive more opportunities. And let me not even go on a tangent. I do want to explain that other point. But you receive more opportunities if you're in these kind of neighborhoods, right? If you're in a bad neighborhood, i.e., places where crime occurs more, or the city infrastructure is lower, or you're close to highways, or anything that kind of depreciates the value of that place, strangely enough, you receive less funding. And this is no surprise. I mean, come on, guys, you could look this up. And again, I'm definitely going to have some metrics on the boards, kind of I'm going to be pointing here and pointing there. But for now, I just kind of want to get people thinking about this, And if you guys have any ideas that you want to share, or any things that I should go into some more details for, or if you have some evidence that you've done some research and you want to send it to me and you want me to present it, please do that. That'll save me a lot of time. That'll be great. But yeah, like the funding issue is super huge, and what the main effect of the funding issue is it results in lower access to much needed resources that students need. We're in 2021, so just think about this. We're in 2021. Almost every class has a whiteboard, and teachers are supposed to have adequate training, right? There's certain classrooms, right, in these lower income neighborhoods that don't even have some of these basic necessities of 2021, right? Some people still have the classic chalkboard, or some people have teachers that are just showing up for a paycheck. So what we really need to do is shift from this focus on capitalism, this focus on production, this focus on just division. It's why we're trying to be so independent when there's 400 million of us in this country. And come on, I can't forget the testing. Come on, really? The testing, the grading? Let me start with standardized tests, okay? The issue with those is that essentially they're created for a specific type of student. Unfortunately, this student is not, BIPOC student. This student is probably most likely a Caucasian student from a kind of background. Like, for instance, will you be able to answer questions on a topic that you've never, like if there was an example such as, I don't know, fishing. Like, what if you've never been fishing? I've never been fishing. What if you've never been fishing and they use that as an example? This is a bad example, but like what if they use something that you can't relate to and that's part of the question, right? Like that automatically puts you at a disadvantage. So how could you, it's kind of like how Einstein says, like that, how a fish, if you judge a fish by how good it can climb, it's gonna forever think it's stupid, something like that. It's the same thing. Like if we use examples, if we use information, or even if we teach information in a way that's not relevant and meaningful to learners, how are they ever going to gain anything? So this is all part of, like just even the curriculum design, that's another part of the systemic injustice, right? Like it's geared toward, again, a certain student. That's why we need a more inclusive curriculum, a more inclusive classroom, just a more inclusive class climate as well. I mean, just think about it. How many classrooms actually say, oh yeah, we're diverse, but that's really just a cover to say, oh, we're trying to be politically correct, but really we still support, systemic injustice. Yeah, they don't say that, and of course I'm skipping a lot of steps, but these are the results that emanate into the classroom and into the society. So what I want to do, right, my main mission is to uproot the Common Core curriculum, I'm sure you guys have heard this, and rebuild it on humanization and organic intelligence. How to do that? Well, I'm going to open up 10 schools. And how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to have an enrichment program that's going to benefit the community, and really, essentially, I want to take over. Yeah, I said it, I want to take over. I want to take over each and every community with humanization and organic intelligence. Is that really bad? If I want people to become their full version of themselves and actually have the ability to tap into their inner self, to their spirit, to being able to actually care about other people, having altruism, having interdependence, having courage. These different things, these are the things that I want to actually help people to unlock as I unlock them myself, So hey guys, thank you for listening. There'll be more content out. Definitely let me know if you want to have certain, topics. If you want me to expand on this topic, or if you want me to talk about something else specifically, let me know. Give me a follow on Instagram. It'll be Aster_education. I'll see you guys there. Remember, stay cultivating.